Hi, this is Catherine Dubberly, the Answer Lady. I know this happens to you because it happens to me fairly often. You get well into a design or a knitting project and discover that there is something just not right about it, whether you've changed your mind about a design choice or there are errors in it. Do you have to frog the whole thing? In other words, rip it out and start over? Not necessarily. I'm going to show you an old-fashioned hand knitting technique for correcting matters that is considerably less work than reknitting the entire garment. What we're looking at here is the back of a vest. This one was loom knitted, but it doesn't matter how it was knitted for me to show you what's going on. These are 8 stitches where I decided I did not like the cable pattern that I had used. And you could also do this just to fix mistakes in the pattern. I wanted it to be different. This is the one I've decided on. The one that I swatched just didn't turn out to look the way I wanted it to over the expanse of the vest. And I didn't want to have to reknit the whole vest. So here is a technique that I did not invent. It's an old-fashioned thing, but I think you don't see it much lately, and I thought I'd show it to you. I laddered all of these 8 stitches down. Everything else is held right now on circular needles, so it's all safe, and I am reknitting using another circular needle. Have a look. At the beginning of every row, we pull this needle backwards so that it's holding the 8 stitches in the normal position. Now, looking at where I am in my pattern, I'm going to cross these 2 stitches and these 2 stitches in this row. So I will begin by knitting normally, using the next rung up this big ladder. Knit, knit, knit. Now you could have done this a little differently with a stitch holder, but for crossing cables that are simple like this, all I do is drop and swap. Knit, 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 cross these 2, and one more. The last one's the toughest because you're running out of yarn. Now I'm getting used to how much yarn I have to work with, so my stitches are coming out pretty even. But if I didn't get them even, that is, I could readjust right here by pulling on them so that the row of stitching was even. Now time to pull through very gently, and I'm ready for the next row. In this particular pattern, the next row doesn't have any crosses. I'm only doing crosses every other row. So let's look for a minute at how to find the strand. They're all laying here and they get tangled, but they really are attached to the knitting in order. So this is obviously my next strand. And I stick my needle through, grab that strand, and start on the row. There's the stitches I crossed. I have to be a little bit careful with them. See, this is really better than redoing the whole thing. And even if you're not much of a hand knitter, this amount of hand knitting, if you got this vest partly made with your knitting machine or your knitting loom, might be something you could take on. This time I didn't do as well getting the stitches even, so you can see exactly what I mean by reallocating the length along the row. And then when I pull up, I'll be able to see, are they pretty even? And now they are. So, ready to pull through and begin again. I'm going to do this just one more time and you'll have it down. Here's the correct strand. Get it separated out. Now it's the last 2 stitches that cross. Knit, knit, drop them and swap them, and knit on to the final 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here they come. Last 2 stitches. And drop them and swap them. Check for evenness, and I'm good to go.